All right, let's go to our reporter, Silindelo Masikane, who was in court for us. She joins us now live from there. Slee, just tell us very quickly what happened in court today.
Quite a brief appearance here in the Palm Ridge Specialized Commercial Crimes Court. The accused were here with their lawyers. We know that, of course, that McKinsey, in fact, has been added onto the charge sheet. And what we saw was the state then telling the court that from the previous appearance where the accused were granted bail, efforts have been made by the state to begin disclosing the contents of the docket. Issues around that is the fact that it's quite a lot, from what I understand, thousands of pages that need to be transferred. And so what we know is that the state says that the investigating officer has requested electronic devices, hard drives of some sort from defense attorneys to be able to then upload the content of the docket and, give them full disclosure ahead of a trial date rather being set. But what we heard then from the lawyers for the accused was displeasure with regards to yet another request for postponement by the state, saying that this matter has been dragging on for some time now. Some of the accused have had warrants of arrest hanging over their heads from as far back as 2019, some as far back as 2012, according to Brian Molefe's lawyer in connection with his client. And so we saw the defense then accusing the state of dragging its feet, of succumbing to public pressure to begin prosecutions when in fact they are not ready to proceed with this matter, saying that the magistrate should then impose some strict timelines in order to ensure that the state does begin the process of actually beginning the trial in this matter. Let's just take a listen to what one of the lawyers had to say with regards to their displeasure with the request for a postponement and the fact that they have not received full disclosure as yet, but also complaining about the fact that the indictment is still in a draft form, meaning essentially there is no indictment, but that also that's what's quite concerning for them is the fact that it still remains unsigned. Let's take a listen.
In my respectful opinion, the disclosure we're getting now and the draft, so-called draft indictment doesn't amount to anything if my learned friend for the state cannot give us the assurance that he has now finalized his investigation in this matter, that the full available case docket which the state will be using during the course of the trial has been made available, and that a signed off indictment by the Director of Public Prosecutions is made available, on which basis one could analyze the evidence and, for instance, decide on whether further particulars would be requested. Now, to go through that exercise with this amount of evidence which the state makes available, on a draft indictment not signed off, so there isn't formal authorization of the NDPP or the DPP for the matter to be transferred from this court to the High Court. So to go through an exercise like that is really a waste of time and money. Firstly, my argument therefore is that once again we have to do here with something staged and dished up by the state for public consumption, saying they are ready, saying that there is an indictment, like they said to one Jessica Besaidenout of the Daily Maverick, whereas there in fact is no authorized indictment. So my learned friend for the state did not deliver as he promised he would. So I submit that the court, should the court grant a postponement in spite of my learned friend's failure to comply what he undertook to do, that the court should then direct that we be supplied by a certain date, because now we're talking the 30th of November for the next appearance. But if he only supplies us with an authorized indictment by the 30th of November, it would mean that we would not have had the opportunity, like this morning, when we received it by email just after daybreak.
And the states, Lee, what are they saying about their case?
Well, we had an opportunity to speak to the investigative directorate, which is, of course, leading this prosecution in terms of those who are accused. And they remain confident despite some of the scathing comments coming from the defense lawyers during the sitting today, saying that, you know, they believe that their investigations, or the police's investigations, have yielded positive results in this matter, and that the accused in the dock do have a case to answer to. Let's take a listen.
Made commitments at the last appearance to ensure that we provide the accused with a charge sheet, and that's exactly what we've done. We've complied with that commitment to court. Secondly, we also told court at the last sitting that we'll be able to then disclose the contents of the docket. You would have heard that some of the defense attorneys and advocates were basically frank and mentioned that we have actually, the investigating officer had reached out to them well in advance in anticipation of this particular appearance to ask them to provide hard drives in order to be able to furnish them with the contents of the docket, because we had stipulated that it is quite voluminous. So that is what we've done, and we shall continue to make sure that they get the contents of the docket. The court has told the attorneys and advocates that they need to provide us with the hard drives in order to expedite that particular matter.
All right, Silindelo Masikane live for us outside the High Court in Palm Ridge.